Welcome, everybody, back to the Fortress of Solitude, a 3PWA production powered by Circle City Wrestling Academy. I am D'Lo Brown here, and I am with a 3PWA legend, the former multiple-time Legion of Valor champion, Tony Raze. Tony, what's going on, my man?
Yo, D'Lo, you know, it's that season.
Bruh, it's if this doesn't make your pulse rate go up, if this doesn't get you all anxious inside, it is WrestleMania season. It is the time of year we all strive for. It is the time of year that those inside the business are just as excited as those who are outside the business about next weekend.
Dude, I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. It's 4 hours away.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. In terms of the United States, for the rest of the world, 4 hours is like a 3-minute drive.
Well, you know, depending on traffic.
Depending on traffic, yes.
Here's the whole thing. It's the second year in a row.
Yeah.
For Vegas,
and that's a question.
A place that you know very, very well.
Yes, I know extremely well. I know the city extremely well.
So, is it a good thing or a bad thing that we're going back to back? And
you know what? That is a question that has been asked since they announced Mania was coming back last year.
Right.
Could the greatest sports spectacle, entertainment city in the world handle something as large as WrestleMania, not once but twice back to back? And I have, in my time around wrestling, I've never seen a major show like this in back-to-back cities. I don't know what to expect.
You know, it's like I'm hearing rumblings about ticket sales not being all that great.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, let's face the facts. It's pricey now.
And that's another thing. I have friends in the know in the city. I have friends all connected around. And the word on the street was ticket sales were, let's say, sluggish. And I don't know if that was because of, well, personally, I don't know if it's because it was 2 years in a row, but the one thing, the common denominator it's always come out is the price compared to just last year of what Mania is. And it is pricing the normal fan, the everyday fan. It feels like it's pricing you guys out of the enjoyment of Mania.
Right. It's tough. It's like, I know if I go and I have to pay $600 for a nosebleed seat ticket,
mm-hmm.
I ain't going. I'd rather watch it for $30-$40
and
at home.
Think about it. That's you as an individual. Imagine a family of four.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
What is a family of? They got to take out a small mortgage, mm-hmm. and they haven't bought merch yet.
Gotta have the shirt.
You if you don't have the shirt, then were you ever there?
Gotta get the shirt.
Gotta get the shirt. But before we get too deep down the WrestleMania rabbit hole, I want to tell everybody thank you guys for joining us here on the Fortress of Solitude. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want more of the Fortress, leave a comment below. If you got fan questions, leave a comment below, and we will get into answering them here. I've got several fan questions we're going to answer today that have been left previously. Now, with that being said, I want to take a quick second. Between the two of us, we have a high respect for the business.
Absolutely.
And you must pay respect to the history of where you've been. And if it wasn't for the man who I'm going to throw some flowers at right now, a lot of the guys, a lot of the girls in the business today wouldn't be here. And I'm not even talking about a physical standpoint. I'm talking about people he has trained, who have trained, who are the stars that are on TV today. Right?
Absolutely. You got talent like Tommaso Ciampa.
Yes.
You know, Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah.
Like there's the list goes on and on.
And if there's no legend killer if the Legend Killer's father was never trained. So let's go right there. And without further ado, I think you know who we're talking about. Let's wish a happy 83rd heavenly birthday to the 8-time NWA. You never notice I don't say former NWA champ, because once you're an NWA champ, you're NWA champ forever. The 8-time NWA champ, the legend Harley Race. Let's give it up to Harley Race. Happy 83rd heavenly birthday.
Whether you known him as Handsome Harley,
yes,
the King
Harley, just know that Harley was one of those,
the greatest wrestler on God's green earth.
And he was one of the last of the shooters. And if you know what a shooter is, those were guys who really held the title and you couldn't take it away from them, because they could Harley had a habit of he could break thumbs pretty easily. And so he was one of those last guys who really held on to the title when wrestling was still the wild, wild west. So
that I wish I was in the business in some of that era.
Yeah.
You know, just to, the amount of knowledge you can learn from some of these guys is, you know, I didn't spend a lot of time with Harley, but the time that I did, you know, we talk about being that sponge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would just soak it in. He taught me how to run a show. Mm-hmm. You know, there's things that I do today that he taught me, you know, 15 years ago.
And here's the crazy thing, but I've been all around this business. I'm jealous of your time. I've told you this before. I'm jealous of your time you had with Harley, because I've only had brief drive-bys with Harley. I've been to his house for barbecue. I've seen him at various events in St. Louis. To actually spend that quality time with him, dude, man, like, I'm envious, because you got to sit under that learning tree and the shadow fell on you, and that's something no one can ever take away from you.
Right. You know, I don't even know what else to say about Harley Race, but he truly was a one of a kind.
He's an icon in this industry, and the kids who are today on TV in front of millions making good money are standing on the backs of guys like Harley Race, and I'll leave it at that. Happy birthday, Harley. So transitioning, there's no transition from a Harley Race birthday. But
Right.
There are several things that are in the news today, and we're in Mania season, and there's a lot of questions about the buildup of some matches, the interaction of stars leading to other matches, and then the hot button topic that keeps coming up to me, and people have always, whether I'm in the airport or on a plane or hell at a supermarket, the question always comes up to me: what is your thought of the celebrity aspect of the WrestleMania build? And it's a question I've been waiting the moment to ask you. I have some heartfelt feelings on it. I want to get your perspective before I throw my 2 cents in there.
You know, there is a need for the celebrities to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a spot, something for them to cover. Like, I mean, look back through the history of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Our president, Trump,
Mm-hmm.
major role in some of those WrestleManias in the early times,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got people like, who recently just passed away, R.I.P., Chuck Norris.
Mm-hmm.
You got, you know, times. I'm going to throw this out there, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly on video anywhere, but I actually marked out for Kane when he took Pete Rose.
It was Pete Rose. Come on.
He was a dick.
It was Pete Rose.
You know, I tried to get his autograph once, and I ended up in the gutter next to the bus tire, and, you know, photographer stepping on me. He just pushed everybody. As a little kid, that...
Oh, okay. Thank you for prefacing little kid, because I was going to say in the gutter next to the. What were you drinking on that day? But hey, but you said little kid, so it's okay.
Little kid with a baseball trying to get an autograph, and you know he push the photographer out of his way and knock me over. And
maybe he rest in, first of all, let's give a shout out to Pete Rose. Shout out to Pete Rose. Shout out to Pete Rose. I've dealt with him a few times, and he's not. Yeah, to put the word surly on him would be an understatement. That
would be a good
surly
summation on that.
Surly. I agree with you on the celebs in wrestling. Since WrestleMania 1, celebrities have always been a cross pollination between wrestling and the mainstream audience to draw that casual fan in.
Right. Bad Bunny. I'm gonna throw it out there. Do I like his music? No, partly because I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
The beat's all right, but I don't know what he's saying. Like, you know what I mean? Now, saying that, he put in the work to get in the ring and do the thing. You know, I'm okay with that. You're going to do the work. When Logan Paul first came on the scene,
yep.
You know, he's got all the athletic ability in the world. And I thought it was just going to be a temporary thing. Okay, he's coming in, he's doing this match, one and done. But he's full-time roster member now.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing about it is Logan Paul's better than a lot of he's a part-timer who wrestles 10 matches a year, and he's better than a lot of guys who wrestle 100 matches a year, which is he's a natural athlete. Let's talk Bad Bunny. I don't understand all of his music. Don't really care. It's not for me. But the 100 million fans that he brings with him worldwide.
My point exactly.
If you bring 100 million of anything with you, you deserve a spot no matter where it is because you have 100 million behind you. Logan Paul's another one who has, a lot of followers, and he brings a lot with him. Jelly Roll's another one. Now, and I'm gonna go. I think there's a thin line between using the celebrity crossover to bring their fans into our world and maybe our fans into their world. Now, I find it a little different when you put that celebrity in the main event angle, when you put that celebrity interacting with the guys who've been wrestling for the majority of their life.
Are you talking about Mr. McAfee?
I'm putting it out there. I think that WrestleMania to me, and I'm old enough to remember when WrestleMania was just one night, and you had to earn your way onto the one night. I distinctly remember being there and having this conversation. WrestleMania is not just the Super Bowl wrestling. It's not just the biggest night of the year. It is the night we all work for. From the Raw after Mania until Mania the next year, your only job is to get on the WrestleMania card. As someone who's been on that roster and as someone who's had that put in front of you, the Raw after Mania, you now have 364 days to prove why you need to be on next year's Mania. And I think when young guys and girls who are busting their tail all year long and they're working the 51 weeks leading into it, it sometimes feels disingenuous when that person gets bumped for someone to be dropped in, even though they bring a large audience with them.
And I totally get that. As an independent wrestler my whole career, I totally understand that. You know, it's like this business is a cutthroat business as it is. So when you add the outsider gimmick into it, now you got to fight other people. You got to fight people from the outside. You're like trying to get your spot.
Yeah.
And, you know, as Arn Anderson said, there's only so many spots.
There's only so many spots. And again, I come from a time when Mania was 7 matches. It was one night. And if you didn't make one of those 6 or 7 matches, you sat in the back and you watched Mania like everybody else. So, I mean, look, I see the pros and the cons.
Okay, here's a little on the spot question.
Mm-hmm.
How many Manias were you on?
5 Manias.
5 Manias.
5 Manias.
Did y'all know that?
5.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I consider myself very lucky. You're lucky if you get 1 Mania. You're privileged and honored if you get 2. I've done 5, and you long for more because that's the lights are brighter, the sounds are more intense. It's WrestleMania.
I could just imagine
Bro,
hitting the curtain, or the stage, or I mean, now it's just like a whole city block.
Yeah, no, it ain't a curtain stage.
Entrance.
It's half the football stadium.
I could just imagine, taking that step and looking at that crowd, looking up, looking around, going, "Holy shit! Look, Ma, I made it!"
It's something, and I get nervous, but there's a difference between Raw nervous or WrestleMania nervous. There's a difference because again, they're casual eyes on you. It's like the Super Bowl. Their eyes. People may not watch wrestling all year long, but they're gonna watch Mania. They may forget what you did last year, but they're gonna watch Mania.
It's like our normal crowds are 150, 200.
Mm-hmm.
We look at, the biggest crowd I've ever wrestled in front of was probably about 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine 20,000. I can't imagine 60,000.
It's when you're at a crowd that big, you don't hear them. You feel their emotions on your body. When they applaud and clap and scream, you feel it pounding on you like this. It's not a sound. It's physical. And then to put in the back of your mind, there's 20, 40, 50, 60,000 people sitting here in front of me. On the other side of that red light, there's 4, 5, 6, 7 million people worldwide who are now watching everything you do. And
so it'd be a really bad time to pick your nose.
You don't. No, you don't do that. No. That's just that. You don't have your zipper down, and you don't have your boots unlaced. And you definitely don't pick your nose. It's WrestleMania.
You say that, and you know what popped in my head? The story about Dusty laying there with a towel barely covering him in the locker room with his boots on and a hat.
That sounds like a lot of Dusty stories. We don't want to talk about his muffler. And here we go. That's another thing.
And he's sitting there. I guess he was working on the card for the show that night.
that could be a usual Dusty. You might walk in and get an eyeful. Speaking of Mania, we'd be remiss. It's also WrestleMania season, but it is also Hall of Fame season. And this is the time of year again. Those who have been in the business, the Hall of Fame to us is just as important and real it is to you.
I love the fact that we can celebrate the people that been there, done that.
Yes, absolutely.
People that we grew up watching. Some of the guys that you were just downright scared of.
Yeah.
Like, there were some of these guys. Let's talk about this year's class.
Okay, so I'll go over and you give me your quick 2 cents. I'm going to mention a name who's going in, and you give me your 1 sentence feedback on them. Cool?
Let's try it.
All right, so we will start at the top of the class, AJ Styles.
He's kind of a cool dude. I've seen him, backstage a few times, I know that was his game console and TV on the ring truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
TNA didn't go nowhere without it.
Nope. That it traveled with the ring.
It's like, honestly, that guy, like, you watch that guy or that kid. I'm gonna call him a kid because I'm pretty sure I'm older than he is. From the times he wrestled at PWG to Ring of Honor to TNA to WWE. It's like you went on a journey with that guy. And I mean, hell, I couldn't do half the stuff that man could do. That's why they call him phenomenal.
He was doing that stuff before that was even acceptable and it was normal. He was doing that back in 2001, 2002 when no one was doing anything like what his style of work. His Hall of Fame induction is well deserved, and it's one of those things that he was like one of those guys we got to see his entirety of his career.
Right.
And he grew up in front of us, and he went from being this young kid to this young man to this seasoned vet to the
salty vet
to the salty vet to the grizzled vet there, and we got to see all of it in front of us. And I think we're all luckier because we got to watch AJ Styles' career.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't say more about the guy.
No, I mean, look, if someone's got something bad to say about AJ Styles, I kind of question them. The next one, an induction class, is Stephanie McMahon.
How do you answer this one? I think it's deserved. Now, you know what? On screen, the stuff that she did was entertaining.
Yeah, as someone who was there while she did a lot of her on-screen stuff and was learning, cutting her teeth, she improved tremendously being on TV. So much so that she became, general manager of the company several years later on TV and became a good heel character. It's not up to me to determine who goes in or doesn't, but the fact she's going in is, I can't thumb my nose at it because she was a pivotal part of the middle part and tail end of Attitude Era all the way through Ruthless Aggression.
Let me throw a little something weird at you. Just, how do you feel about her going into the Hall of Fame when her father isn't?
Well, she's not a lightning rod like her father right now. So we can kind of just go there.
I mean, he is.
She doesn't currently have 19 lawsuits against her. I didn't say that out loud. Shh.
We'll edit that part out.
Edit point. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just I don't know if.
Do you think he'll ever be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame?
It's wrestling, and I'll never say never. But while there's current litigation against him, I err on the side of no rather than yes.
Fair enough.
Okay. Before I go into the celebrity wing of this, I'd be remiss if I don't mention one of the greatest tag teams in the history of wrestling. And although they may have started off as a carbon copy of another team, they slowly created their own niche and buzz and separated themselves from the copy of the team they were. I'm speaking of whether it's a two-man group or a three-man band, Demolition. I think they dominated the WWF in the late 80s, early 90s to the point where, and then let's remove them from the Demolition gimmick and look at Superstar Bill Eadie or, Barry Darsow and look at them individually before we even bring them together as a team. They were Hall of Famers as individuals before they came together as a Hall of Fame tag team.
I can agree with that totally. Two of the greatest big guys, because they're both big guys.
Yeah, they were. Not small dudes.
Even now, when you see them at conventions, stuff like that, you're like, man.
A Superstar still a thick man. He's not a small man now, and he's pushing 70 something.
And it's like I could just imagine getting picked up, and so, me and Biggie Biggs were the heavy hitters for a long time. and our finisher, we used their finisher, and I couldn't imagine getting picked up by that dude.
And their finisher, if you don't know, it was put over the knee in a backbreaker position and an elbow up the second rope, which for the time in the business was revolutionary.
Right.
Guys that size didn't come off the ropes at all. Even the second rope, that was like dropping from 1,000 feet back in that time in the business.
You know, that's like looking up there and seeing Akeem, the African Dream, getting ready to do the 747.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
You know, but now you're looking up at, you know, let's face it, look at some of the indie wrestlers nowadays. Lucky to break 200.
And that's we're missing that in wrestling.
So when me sitting on 350 goes up to that metal rope to drop that elbow, you know, I kill him.
Yeah, no,
It's a devastating move.
it's height times weight times velocity. You can't fake gravity, people. You can't fake gravity.
I've heard that. I'm gonna make that a T-shirt,
bro. Pounds are pounds, no matter where they're coming from.
You know, and the other thing that you got to mention about Demolition is the fact that you're absolutely right. They made tag team wrestling fun in the WWF.
And the WWF, for those who don't know, Vince McMahon never liked tag team wrestling. Vince McMahon Sr. did. Vince Jr. was never the biggest tag team guy. So when you had a team like Demolition that was still getting over, still being featured as a tag team, very much on, they were kind of an NWA tag team champion style team in the WWF. Like, they were working men, not just gimmicks. They were working big men, very much in the vein of the NWA tag team division.
I mean, there's only two other teams that I could think that could actually stand toe to toe in a real fight with them.
Who would you put out there?
Well, obviously LOD.
Yeah, I put LOD there.
But you got to get, and I really don't think they get enough credit for being a tag team, is the Barbarian and...
I was just about to say Haku and Ming.
And I was going to say whether you go with Ming or even the Warlord.
Yeah, and I'm not going to argue either one of those versions.
Either one of those versions of that tag team.
Yeah, I am right there with you.
Don't tell Ron, but damn, like, you know what I mean?
Right. And we talked about earlier celebrities in wrestling in the buildup of Mania. Thoughts on celebrities in the Hall of Fame in the celebrity wing, and or in the regular wing of the Hall of Fame?
So I'm good with the celebrity wing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gives people a history lesson. You know, yeah, Pete Rose was a part of WrestleManias for this reasons, and you know, I'm good with that. Now, I know where you're kind of going with this one, and I truly feel that Dennis Rodman needs to be in the celebrity wing and not the main wing. That's just my opinion. I ain't got nothing against Mr. Rodman. But what did he do to deserve to be in the regular wing? And
I agree with what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down, because, you know, other than a match here or two in WCW,
you know, being Hogan's flunky, because let's face the facts, that's what you were.
So, I mean, look, full disclosure, I've hung out with Dennis Rodman. I partied with Dennis Rodman, and I live to tell a story about it. Here's my thing. When it comes to the Hall of Fame, either it's a Hall of Fame, or you have celebrity wings and legacy wings, or it's just a Hall of Fame. But if you have different wings, then celebrities shouldn't be in the Hall. They should be in the celebrity wing. Legacy should be in the legacy wing. and there shouldn't be celebrity or legacies in the Hall of Fame itself. So either you have it all together, or you keep people in their silos.
This is where I have a problem with the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got a celebrity wing, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, but why are when it comes to legacy, that's what the Hall of Fame is about. It's about legacy.
Yes.
Let's talk about him. Let's talk about Sid, because this is kind of weighing on everybody right now.
Yeah.
And okay, legacy, sure, but he was also a multi-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
And given the right circumstances, he could have been better than Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been better than The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
As far as in the ring, I think him and Taker had a lot of stuff in common.
Yeah, they were both very agile big men in a time when big men couldn't move.
And anybody to give their body to this business like Sid did,
mm-hmm.
That was one of the nastiest leg breaks on video that you will ever see.
Yeah, Sid left a leg in the ring. He literally left a leg in the ring.
Man, what do you say about that?
Right. Yeah, it's
legacy or main hall. I'm sorry. I think he deserves to be.
And I wish they would
a little more spotlighted.
I wish they would, and I agree with you. I'm not going to argue at all, because I think a guy, if you win the WWEF title once, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. It's rarefied air. I'm wondering if they just should define legacy wing as those who have passed, and it's posthumously inducting them. They're still in the Hall of Fame, but you're saying you're not going to hear a speech from them, but we're still going to put them in the Hall, and you call it the legacy. I think if you defined it kind of like that, I think a lot more people would have a little more
ease.
A little more ease going, okay, Sid's in the legacy wing, but Dennis Rodman's in the Hall of Fame. I think you can kind of say, well, Sid's not here to accept the award, but we're going to give it to him, and that puts him in the legacy wing.
Well, there's been other. I feel like there's been other people that have passed and have gone into the Hall of Fame, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they've separated them or what, but
I mean, yeah, and
you're not getting the nod from them, but you'll get it from a family member or something to that effect. I also have this crazy feeling. I don't know who.
Obviously, Vince McMahon is no longer in charge of this, and we don't know who makes the decision of this. But it also feels like any living Hall of Fame member should have a vote on the next class. Like there should be the legends vote, people who are already in, and then there should be a fan vote, and then a decision maker vote. Kind of like the NFL Hall of Fame or the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame or any other Hall of Fame that's out there. Those who are in, who have qualified, have a little say on who's welcomed in the house.
I could see that, and that's being judged by your peers.
That's the only way I ever want to be judged.
Right.
It's the only. I don't care about anything else. That's the only thing I ever cared about, was being judged by those who I worked with or alongside of. And I think those are the people who should have a say in whether you're worthy enough to cross the threshold of the Hall of Fame or not. Just throwing it out there.
Again, it's just our opinion.
It's opinion.
We're two guys just sitting here shooting shit.
Yes.
So.
I mean, look, opinions are like a-holes. We all have them, and they all stink. So, look, take it for what you want. It ain't written in stone. Neither of us are decision makers. Neither of us are going to change anything tomorrow. But we can express our opinion today. And now, with that being said, I'd like to go into my favorite point of Enforcer Solitude. Fan questions.
What's the question?
All right, so Wayne's World. Okay, so I want to go into one. I just got this one. I'm looking at my notes, and I'm still okay. I'm gonna go out there. This one is from Orc from Maine, if that is your real name.
Come on, man. Orc, really?
Orc. Hey, bro. Look, my real name's AC. It's weird as hell. So Orc, anyway. The question is from Orc from Maine. What's the best advice Mr. McMahon ever gave you?
Ooh. Inquiring minds want to know that one.
I will boil it down to this. He once told me that if I have 30 seconds of spotlight, make that 30 seconds the most impressive 30 seconds of the entire show. If you have a moment to be to be the focal point, you do everything you have inside of you to actually try to make people never forget, whether it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds of your time out there. And that's one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me.
You know, that's really cool. And if you think about it, there were white guys all over the country walking around.
Oh, bro,
doing this.
Come on, bro. If I had a nickel for every dude who's walked up to me in a supermarket or the airport or anywhere and said, "Man, I got in trouble because I told my teacher off and I walked out of class shaking my head, or I did the strut to the principal's office," if I had a nickel for every time that was told to me, Bill Gates would have nothing on my bank account. Nothing.
Like my nephews used to look at me and they'd giggle and laugh because when I get all excited and you know, I'll start getting that head bobbing and they'd be like, "Look, it's D'Lo Brown,
Bruh, let's keep it going. Knock on wood. Again, I'm lucky that I've connected with the pulse of people, and they still remember me, which is a really cool thing. Action figures available now. Anyway, next one. What do we got here? We have a young man that I've interacted with a few times, Chase from Corona. And his question is, how do you feel about the WWE's use of Danhausen?
Oof. You know, I almost feel like they're looking for a replacement for the man himself.
Who?
You know who I'm talking about?
Who?
The funniest man in the business.
Who, Santino Marella? No, I'm only kidding. See, gotcha. Boom!
Now,
see, you can't go on, can you?
Dude, that's messed up, bro.
I got you. What do you think?
R-Truth
Yes.
is one of the greatest, funniest guys. And I don't even think he set out to be that guy.
Those are the people who are mostly funny, is those who don't try to be funny. And if you know Truth, he's not trying to be comedic. He's just comedic. So those are the people who are naturally funny.
You know, everything he does, and, you know, you watch the videos, you know, getting ready to get hit by the Big Show. He says, I hit myself. I knocked myself out.
Would you rather get knocked out by Show or eat your own fist?
Hello. 5-knuckle shuffle coming my way. Like, so I really think that they're like trying to find an acceptable replacement, because honestly, from what I've seen already, the promos are a little goofy, you know, and like the stuff he's done previously in other companies isn't quite like that.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how it's going to work out for him.
I'm curious. I like Danhausen. I've known the man for probably 10, 15 years now. I knew him long before he was Danhausen, when he was just an independent kid trying to figure his way. And then I watched the evolution of Danhausen character grow from a little character on the Midwest to finally getting recognized and making his way to AEW, and now finally the big stage in WWE. Here's my thing. I find him entertaining. I find his segments are goofball segments, and we laugh with him, and that's a good thing. My only thing, I love the whole "you are cursed." I just hope they don't go too far down the supernatural thing where he starts making people float and levitate or disappear or teleport. But as long as we do the ha-ha, I point at you and the pyro goes off, that's okay. That's okay. That's kind of funny. We do the
It was a neat spot.
We shoot him with the hard cam running off because he's not supposed to disappear like that. But we're all in on the joke. That's funny.
Okay, my only question is, what's with the teeth?
He's an evil dentist, and I think the teeth are from the humans he's cursed.
Is he related to Dr. Isaac Yankem?
I think he stole Isaac Yankem's soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Yankem turned into Undertaker. That's why Yankem turned into Kane, because he pulled the soul of Yankem and kept him he's in the teeth. Anyway. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have more questions, fan interaction, please like, comment, subscribe right down below. Ask your questions. Tony and I will do our best. Again, we're just two dudes sitting around, chopping it up, watching wrestling, and we're letting you guys listen in on. So with that, I appreciate you guys joining us. And that's this week's Fortune of Solitude. Tony, anything you want to say in closing?
I'm just looking forward to WrestleMania and some of those high-profile matches. I'm looking forward to actually being there for a change and hitting up some of these other shows that are pretty big.
Yeah, if you see either of us out in Vegas, please stop and say hello. We're pretty friendly. Other than that, don't talk to him. Other than that, I will close this up and thank you guys for tuning in, listening to us, and remember, at the end of the day, don't take this too seriously. It's just wrestling,
and nobody gets out alive anyways.